Welcome back again, guys, from your favorite podcast, Forex Chat. And this is another episode where we try to help you to become a better trader. In this episode, we are going to talk about candlesticks. And if you check on our playlist, we talked about candlesticks, but this time we are going to go in depth on candlesticks, not just understand them, not just know them, but understand how they work. So you realize that when you become a trader, they say that every candlestick tells a story. And that is more like the theme of the tutorial, of today's tutorial, because we are trying to understand the story that is being told by every candlestick that is being portrayed on our charts. So just a recap on candlesticks. We said a candlestick has three things. It shows a tail, a lower tail, an upper tail, and a body. If the body is red, it means the candlestick is bearish. If the candlestick is green, it means if the body is green, it means the candlestick is bullish. If you haven't watched that, please go and watch the first episode, the first tutorial that we put out on candlesticks. So we say it has a body which shows the opening and closing price of the market for a specific interval. Let's say it's H4, it's M15. We have a tail which shows the highest and the lowest price reached by price during a specific interval. And then we say red means bearish, green means bullish on a candlestick. So guys, as you will be doing your research on specific special types of candlesticks, you realize that there are many names that are given to candlesticks. You will see that there are candlesticks named doji. You see that there are candles named shooting star. You see that there is the marabozu. There is hammer candlestick. There are railroad tracks. It's a lot. So one thing that I will do in this episode is I will group those candlesticks. I will tell you I will not go into detail and explain what each and every candlestick means. I will just group them so that when you see, when you read any article that talks about a marabozu, or you don't get confused. You just know which class it falls under, because that is the most important story that you need to understand about a candlestick. So there are three types of candlesticks that all candlesticks fall under these three qualities. We have what are called strength candles. We have what are called control shift candles. We have what are called indecision candles. So what are strength candles? Strength candles are candles that have a big body and very small tails. Right? So strength candles, they simply show you who is in charge. We said in any market, he said that the buyers, the sellers are in charge, or there is a little bit of a stalemate, right? In any liquid market. So usually when you see strength candles, it shows you who is in charge in a market, because it shows little wicks which show little sign of struggle between the guys who are in power and those who are trying to oppose in a direction. If it's green, it means the strength, the buyers are the strongest. If it's red, it means the sellers are the strongest. So here it says they show dominance, like they show who is really dominating the market. So a green strength candle tells you that the buyers are in charge, right? And they are most common in trending markets. You understand why we say they are most common in trending markets? Because when you are in a support zone, right? Let's say you're in a support zone. when the market is moving away from that support, when it respects that support, it moves away, it gives strong rejection of that support to show that it is very valid. It doesn't test, come back, test, show indecision. It moves strongly from that support. It gives a strength candle. As you can see here in the example that I have here, you can see that these three strength candles came after respecting this zone. You can see that these two strength candles came after respecting this zone right here. So strength candles are usually confirmation that your zone is being respected. Also, you need to realize that they are also responsible for breaking a structure. Let's say it's a support. If price is breaking usually a support or a resistance, they present these strength candles to show that we are not respecting this price, we're just going to hammer through it, right? It's like you want to pass through a wall, right? You cannot just try to push it slowly and hope that it falls. You have to come in your fullest force and break through the building. That's exactly what also price does. Why you face strength candles. Also when breaking a support or a resistance zone. So they have a big body and a small tail. Those are the characteristics. And they are most common when reacting to a support and resistance or breaking through it, like I was saying. So here we have an example of a strength candle. As you can see here, we have a resistance that price is respected. And you can see that there is two strong strength candles. And here it says, price strongly moves away from the resistance to show two strength candles. As you can see here, this is something that shows you that price is really melting down. Then we have what are called control shift candles. They show a change in market direction. These ones. Like when a market is shifting from being bullish to being bearish, it first presents you these candles called control shift candles. So they are most common around support and resistance zones. Why? Because they are trying to show you that the buyers are coming in when in a bearish market, right? So the characteristics that show you that it's a control shift candle, it usually has a very small body, right? And very long tails, right? As you can see here, we have a support, right? Price broke through this support with a strength candle right here, right? And when it came back to this support, it was a resistance then when it broke the structure, and then when it came back to the support, it gave you this candle. This is a control shift candle, and you can see that with the following candle as well, it has a very small body and a very big wick. It shows you that the market is really, in this case, it's showing that the market wants to go up. I hope that one is clear. So control shift candles, which I abbreviated as CS, have long tails and small bodies, and they are usually more than one. I'm sorry. So with control shift candles, they are usually more than one, to show you confirmation that, because what price is doing is the buyers are coming in, right? Let's say it's a bearish market and the buyers are coming in, right? The sellers don't just drop off because the buyers are coming in. There is a little bit of a tug of war. So when that tug of war happens, it's like the buyers are pushing this side, the sellers are pushing this side. They give their highest price, they give their lowest price. That's why you see those big tails, right? But the small body is more like a stalemate kind of a situation. They are, if it's in a bearish market, it shows you that the buyers are neutralizing the sellers. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. And then when we have what are called indecision candles. So these are the most common in ranging markets. Indecision candles show you that the buyers and the sellers, they are not really the most active in the market at that specific point of time. So they show indecision between buyers and sellers, and they have small bodies and tails. These ones, you remember strength candles have big bodies and small tails, right? Control shift candles have big tails and small bodies. These ones have small bodies and small tails. You see the difference there. So this is an example of indecision candles. You can see that there are many small candles with small bodies. It looks like they are not fully formed. They didn't want to come out. Yeah, those candles are most common when there is an indecision between buyers and sellers. A market when it is not liquid, right? Usually what happens here, this is a situation whereby the big guys, the banks, they want to see something to happen in the market. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's a presidential election, right? The banks who wait for the results to come out before they can put their money in that currency, right? If let's say it's between two candlesticks, President A has their policies, President B has their policies, right? These policies determine whether a currency is going to gain or lose value, right? So in a situation where they vote for President A, who is going to make the currency gain in value, right? And the market is supposed to go up. That phase when they are waiting, you see a lot of indecision candles. I hope what I'm talking about here is making sense. So I'm trying to have a full-blown situation in a market where we have indecision candles, control shift candles, and then we have strength candles, right? As we'll go later on, you will see that in a perfect market, you're supposed to see all these three things appearing. So this is the chart of the US dollar index, and you can see that there was indecision in this market for some long period of time, right? It feels like the market was waiting for something to happen so that they can decide on whether they are going up or down, right? That is called indecision. We say price is ranging, which means the market is not liquid. There is indecision between the buyers and the sellers in this market. So what we can see here, but then price moves away from this indecision and it goes down, right? This shows you that the sellers are in control of this market. But then it comes back and retests the ranging zone, right? And then it comes down. But then it comes back again. And you can see that when it comes back here to this resistance, it creates these control shift candles right here. If you can see, we said they are usually more than one. So you can see that this body, this candlestick, although the body is quite long, you can see that the tail is very long. That is the first sign that you get that the sellers are now taking over, right? And then we have a second candle with a very small body and very long tails. It's another confirmation to tell you, you know what? The sellers are really trying to take control of this market. And what happens after that? The market melts down with two big candles, with two big strength candles showing dominance to show that we are now moving in this direction. So this is how the market moves, guys. So when you are looking at a market, right, you need to see these things. And I deliberately left this part out so that only the guys who watch this video to the end can know this. The most important trick is the higher you go with time frame, the more relevant these things are. So you can only talk about indecision, strength candles and everything on high time frames, right? So we'll only focus on H4, D1 and 1 week only. This is where I need to see these types of candlesticks, because in smaller time frames they tend to appear everywhere all the time. So when you go to higher time frames, they take more meaning. I hope that is clear. So as always, let's go to the market and try to see these things that we're talking about. Okay, right. Welcome back to the market, guys. So I can see something already. You know, when you really master your stuff, these things come natural. As you can see here, I can see my support zone here. I can see my support zone here. As I said, the market is support and resistance is not a price, it's a zone, right? Guys, we can see that there was a lot of indecision candles right here. Can you see them? Right here. These candles. We have a lot of indecision candles here, right? And that shows you that you are waiting for the market to pick a direction, right? So you don't trade when the market is giving you indecision candles. You wait for the market to give you directional candles like control shift candles and strength candles, so that you know which direction your market is going to go. And then we had, it was right here, it is a resistance, right? And what happens to that resistance? You can see that price gave you these very strong candles to reject it, right? When price gave you those very strong candles to reject it, you can see that these are what are called strength candles right here. These are my strength candles. Strength candles, right? That is what we call a strength candle. So what happens there? It's giving you confirmation that my market is really bullish. So this information is going to work a lot more. But what happens when it breaks through this? This now becomes a support when price comes down here. This is now a support, right? And price comes here. If you can see, you can see that I had my control shift candle here. I hope you guys can see it, because market conditions are not like, they don't give what you want. Okay, what did I do? Control shift candles, right? And then when you get this, price pushes up a little bit, comes back to retest this, and it goes up, right? Let's try to see how this looks like on D1. Like I was telling you, that the higher you go, the more clear these things will be. Let's see what it looks like on my D1. I hope you can see that. I hope you can see that it's clearer here. So what was happening here? We have resistance here, we have a big strength candle there. Market comes back to retest this. Now it's a support, right? And you can see these really big candles, like really big tailed candles. These are control shift candles. They should have told you something is happening, right? In other books, they'll tell you it's a morning star, it's a shooting star, what. Don't worry about the names. We want to see a control shift candle. It tells you that this zone is being respected. So what does this help us? Why do we need to know these candlesticks, right? If you can follow from where we started, you can see that we could only mark support and resistance when price has already passed, right? But now in a real trading situation, you need to pick that price it is respecting a zone when it is at the zone. That is how you can pick a trade. So we are saying when price gets to a support or when it gets to a resistance, we need to see features that show you that this zone is valid. This zone is respected. This zone is violated, right? Because like we said, support and resistance is a zone. How would you know that this zone has been violated? How do you get to know that this zone has been violated? You see strength candles, right? No strength candles, you should be very careful. Otherwise, it's just that situation whereby price is trying to act like it has passed the zone and then it comes back and trades in. But when you see strength candles, it's good confirmation to tell you that price has violated that zone and it's probably aiming for another higher zone. So in the next video, we are going to combine reading candlesticks, right, and using support and resistance to catch these moves on smaller time frames. Now we are trying to find entries using support and resistance. So that is all from this episode, guys. I'll catch you in the next video when we will talk about finding entries using support and resistance. Thank you so much, guys.